participant Jay Chakrabarti. Please come up on the stage.
Hello everybody, my name is Jay Chakraborty. Today I'll be talking about what grown-ups forgot about being a kid. Well, there are many things, but here are a few. There is the fact that grown-ups forget what it's like to not have and use a phone every 2 minutes. Because if I say something and they're on their phone or checking their Facebook account, then I don't know if they're even listening, or if they even care. Also, they forget what it's like to live in the moment, instead of always worrying about a big meeting or the next school music concert. Another thing that they forget is what it is like to be able to eat a lot of junk food. When you are a kid, you can eat all of your Halloween candy, and I'm not saying you should, but you can, because you can grow and you'll look fine. But when you're an adult, if you make bad food choices and eat stuff that isn't good, then you'll get sick and fat. Something else that they forget is how it is like to be messy and still enjoy it and have a good time. Because when you're a kid, you can play in the rain and the snow and the mud, and you can be having a really good time. But when you're an adult, you just don't do those things. Either that or nobody does. Trust me, I don't know, because I have never once seen either of my parents play in the rain, mud, or snow. They also forget what it is like to not be blocked with social limitations, because if an adult thinks of a really good idea, they might not follow through on it, and stop themselves thinking, this costs too much, or this won't benefit me. But since kids don't think like that, they actually follow through on really great ideas. For example, the Museum of Glass in the state in Tacoma, Washington, has a program where kids draw their own designs for glass. The museum got some of the best ideas from the program because kids don't think of how hard some shapes would be to blow. So they don't stop themselves from designing really cool things. Likewise, in a movie called Mr. Peabody and Sherman, there's a brainiac named Mr. Peabody, and he's a dog, and there's a young boy named Sherman. In the end, when everything is all messed up, it's not Mr. Peabody, the brainiac, who figures out how to get everything back to normal. It's Sherman, who is only in first or second grade. In conclusion, I just want to say that it's okay to not always be on your phone, and it is okay to live in the moment and eat junk food, but not too much. And it is okay to be messy and enjoy it and not be blocked with social limitations, because you only have one life. And in the later age, when you are all old, you don't want to regret the things that you wanted to do, but never did. Thank you.
Pooja Bhattacharya. Please come up on the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Pooja. I'm here to tell you about what adults have forgotten about being kids. In my 10 years of living, I've learned a lot about adults and their points of view. Most of the time, the reason that us kids are prohibited from doing certain things is because they want us to be safe. They don't remember that they probably asked you to do the exact same things when they were little too. I can think of a million things that parents forget about being a kid, but in 3 minutes, here's what I came up with. I'm convinced that parents forget about being a kid because some parents forget that kids don't know as much as they do. They don't let their child learn by making mistakes, and most of all, they forget that they did the exact same thing when they were a child too. Parents forget that kids don't know as much as they do because they are grown and have a ton of experience. My parents say that as you grow up, you become more mature and knowledgeable about the world. For example, my dad won't let me sit in the front seat. One day when he's sitting up again, I asked him, why won't you let me sit there? All my friends do, and your dad probably let you sit there when you were my age. Then he smiled and said, my parents wouldn't let me sit in the front when I was a kid either. And I was mad, but now I understand. You'll understand when you get older too. Secondly, I think that parents forget that kids like to experiment, do crazy things, and make mistakes. I think that making mistakes is a great way to learn and understand. For example, when I was in kindergarten, my class was collecting box tops. I was eager to win, so I took all the tissues out of a brand new Kleenex box, cut up the box top, and laid the tissues on my desk. My mom came in a little bit later and saw all the Kleenexes scrawled across my desk, but she didn't say anything. Instead, she told me later how I learned from that experience. But she's not always that nice, and I continue to experiment because that's the only way I learn. the best reason that parents forget about being a kid is that they were also kids once. They did the same crazy things when they were little. I thought about this, and I think that when I'm older, I'm probably going to do the same things to my kids. I want them to be happy and get along without my help, and I'll probably end up imitating all my adult role models that I adore. But for now, I just want to be 10, and I want to live in the moment. Thank you.
Next is Raghav Kasi Butler. Please come up on the stage.
My name is Raghav Kasi Butler, and in this elocution, I chose the first topic. If I were any fictional character, who would I be? I thought about this for a little while. Then, I figured it out. I would be Percy Jackson. There are a few reasons why also. Percy Jackson is the son of the sea god, which means he has control over water. And seeing that the earth is made up of 3/4 of water, he has a lot of power. He also goes to Camp Half-Blood, which is home to the Greek demigods, and where they train and live over summer. It sounds like a really fun place. He also goes on many adventures with his friends, who have always got his back whenever he needs them. He has dyslexia and ADHD, but those aren't really his weaknesses. Those turn out to be some of his strengths. The ADHD keeps him active while he's in battle, and the dyslexia allows him to read Greek. If I were Percy Jackson, a few things I would do were I would cure people with cancer, because when Percy Jackson touches water, he gets the power to heal. So cancer is a very devastating thing that even my grandmother has went through, and I don't want people to go through the same pain. I would also save aquatic animals from oil spills, because scientists have said that over 100 million gallons of oil have spilled into bodies of water each year. And that is not only devastating to the health of the animals, but also to the environment. I would also get the excitement of being able to fight monsters, like Cyclopses, which are one-eyed monsters, Minotaurs, which are half bull and half man, and Centaurs, which are half horse, half man. What makes these monsters so fierce is that they don't even exist in our world. I would also get the experience of having a half-brother that's a Cyclops named Tyson. Cyclopses are immune to fire and have lots of strength, so we can battle alongside each other in adventures. I would also be able to do the Ice Bucket Challenge, in which I could pour millions of gallons of ice water on myself and not even feel a thing. Out of the many choices I had for a fictional character that I would want to be, this one stood out to be the most, of being the most adventurous and exciting. This would be my life if I were Percy Jackson. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rashida Morthala, and my topic today is self-confidence. Self-confidence is something that many people have or don't have. I mean, what is self-confidence? Self-confidence is when you feel confident in something that you do, and it's what you do when you believe something is right, and even if other people mock or criticize you. You also have to be willing to take risks and admitting your mistakes. That's what being self-confident is. Now I'm going to be telling you on how I learned to be self-confident. I learned to do what I think is right and feel what is best for me by letting people know, by not listening to others of what they say or criticize. But I do what I want, and I felt like I did the right thing. Slowly not caring what other people think of you, you can also build up your confidence. Even though sometimes it's good to listen to people when you need some help and when you feel like you know the right thing to do. But when you feel like that's the right thing, you should just do it. There were times when I would listen to my parents and then I would analyze what I should do, and then I would do what I feel is the best. I learned to take risks by going out of my comfort zone and also stop fearing failure if I didn't take any risks. So I thought to myself, why should I stop myself for taking risks when I can do lots more things if I can get out of my comfort zone? I mean, if all we do all life is we just stay in our comfort zone, we can't do anything. So this is how I learned to be self-confident, by taking risks and believing what is right and doing it. Thank you for your time.
The next participant is Rohan Sheikh.
My name is Rohan Sheikh, and the topic I chose was if I could be any fictional character. If I could be any fictional character, I would be the Flash because of his quickness, agility, and durability. Flash is a superhero that has a lot of super speed. Being the Flash can save you a lot of time. He can go around the world in hours. Being the Flash can help with school things. For example, getting to school, getting to class on time, or getting dressed for school. It can also help in sports. For example, in basketball, it would be easy to get rebounds or run to the other side of the court. For football, you can get a touchdown easily if you have the ball in your hands. And for baseball, it would be easy to run the bases. Being the Flash can also help with everyday things, like getting something from your friend's house, brushing your teeth faster, getting your meals faster, and making the meals faster. It would help in community service as well. Example, if there was a fire at someone's house, the Flash could easily get inside and save the people that are stuck. Another example is, if there was a robber driving or running away with someone's belongings, the Flash could easily chase down the person and capture them with a speed. It would also be very helpful on long road trips or overseas trips. If you were going to Boston or Cleveland in a car, it would take about 10 hours, but for the Flash, it would only take minutes. If you were going overseas, you would need to take a plane. But the Flash can run so fast that he can run on water. All you need to know is where your destination is. Now that I have told you all the things that Flash can do, here's some history behind Flash. Flash was created by Gardner Fox and artist Harry Lambert. The original Flash appeared in Flash Comics #1 in 1940. In this book, the Flash is getting used to his supernatural powers. How he got them. While Barry Allen, which is his real name, was in his science lab, there was an emergency. Barry accidentally dropped a hard liquid gas, whatever that was, on the floor. He inhaled it and was on the ground laying unconscious. When he regained consciousness, he felt a little weird. That is when he got his powers. Eventually, a boy named Wally West became his sidekick. Barry allowed Wally to inhale the same gas as well, and Wally became known as Kid Flash. After a while, the Flash died. Then Kid Flash evolved and became the new Flash. After another long time, the Kid Flash died. Then Barry came back in the book, Flash Rebirth, in 2008. Apparently Barry got trapped in the Speed Force and finally escaped to join other superheroes that included Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Aquaman to form the Justice Society of America, which protected the Earth. And the Flash would be known as New 52 Flash because he was reborn. Have a good afternoon.
Today, I chose a topic, if I were a fictional character, I would be. I chose that I would be Anna from Frozen because I thought she was a really inspiring princess. Because she's very fearless, brave, kind, and elegant. She's fearless because she's not afraid of her sister like everyone else in her kingdom. She's brave because she doesn't care what other people think of her, and she was on a dangerous mission to save her sister and kingdom. She's kind because she bought Kristoff a very expensive sleigh, and she's also very elegant because she acts like a real princess by being very nice and generous. I think she's also very determined because she is really setting her heart out to go out and find her sister Elsa, and she knows that it's gonna be hard, and she meets new friends, and she's not afraid of anything. And I like her because she knows what she wants to do, and she's good at it. And I think she's really, really, really brave because she was meeting new people and she wasn't afraid. She knew that she was set out to find one thing and one thing only. She thought that she was determined, and she knew she was determined. So when she was looking for her friend, for her sister, she came back and she knew that she was going to look for her sister, and she came back with her sister. She tried really hard to come back with her sister, and she did it. And I also like her because she's full of energy and very creative, and she has big dreams, and she's also very fun and playful. And when she was little,
her sister was always locked up in her room and she didn't have anybody to play with. But she was really alone, but she always had fun, whether it was by herself or with someone. And that's why I chose her for my princess. As you can see, Anna is very sweet, playful, kind, and intelligent, and determined. So that's why I chose to be Anna if I could be any fictional character. Thank you.